Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The stretch run is here. On March 18th, Love Nebraska hosts Love Atlanta at Baxter Arena with first serve set for 7 p.m., and every set carries postseason implications. Two explosive teams meet on one court, trading quick transition, heavy swings, and defensive plays that can shift the match in seconds. Playoff implications on the line as the season winds down. Don't just track the score, feel every rally live. Secure your seats at lovebneb.com/tickets.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 11th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on The Ticket, Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 11th through March 14th as we crown 6 state champions at the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill welcomes out-of-towners to Lincoln for state high school basketball and congratulates your schools on making it to the tournament. If your local bar is comfortable and you know the regulars, find that experience at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, where it's a small town feel with lots of space. Big groups are more than welcome, so come on by before or after your team plays to experience great food, great drinks, and great times, all at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, downtown at 10th and P.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and
And electrical.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good morning. Welcome. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Whyman holding it down here for the next 2 hours, as I'd like to announce that Nick Sainer, I just got off the phone with him. They are having some technical difficulties trying to stream the high school game, the D2 championship game between Elgin Pope John and Archangels Catholic. That game, he is trying to get it up and running, but technical difficulties right now at Pinnacle Bank Arena. I will update you throughout the next hour or so on that game. But if you're looking for that broadcast, you will not be able to hear it. It sounds like as Nick Sanders trying to get it up and running. It sounds like the 11 o'clock game, the C1 championship game between Ashland Greenwood and Douglas County West should be good to go. We'll start with that. There's a little housekeeping there, but yes, live radio, that's just how it goes. But it sounds like Nick's going to try to get it up and running at some point, potentially during the D2 game. But if not, C1, it sounds like we should be back on roll for the 5 championship games, starting with C1A, then a little break in the action, and then Class C2, Class B, and then the cap off the 2026 edition of the NSA State Basketball Championships Boys Edition with D1 on the final day. So, as mentioned, technical difficulties down there at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Sounds like an 11 a.m. game will be live right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Throughout the hour now, I will give you updates on number 1, Elgin Pope John taking on number 2, Archangels Catholic. But if you'd love to join the conversation, there's a lot to talk about. We'll set the table for today across the NSA State Basketball Championships. We'll also talk about another basketball game that happened up in Chicago last night. A couple of them. One in particular that a lot of Husker fans are kind of just putting behind them before a new season begins next week with the big dance of the NCAA tournament. But if you always like to join the conversation here at 93.7 The Ticket, the Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line, 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. Or if you're watching on all of our streams, as always, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961 if you're watching on any of those platforms. I'd love to hear from you. If you're going down to Pinnacle Bank today, you can watch some really good basketball games across the board. D2 starting now. Ashland Greenwood's been a staple in the state tournament for the past couple of years. They're coming up here in a bit against DC West, a team that was in Class B a year ago and then lost to Scott in the first round, then moved back down to C1 due to their enrollment and knock off the number 1 seed Ogallala, who's undefeated in a stunning upset to begin the day in Class C1 yesterday. So we'll do a little bit of rundown real quick in the high school realm and set the table for today because there are plenty of games to get to. And if you've ever been down there for Pinnacle Bank Arena for the state championship days, it's worth it. The girls tournament was a success. There was a lot of really good games, a lot of quality basketball, a lot of interesting storylines throughout. I think the semifinal Friday, especially yesterday, if you were down there at Pinnacle Bank, it was something else. Top seeds in those games on Friday went 1-5. The 1 seeds, we saw a lot of them get knocked off. There was a lot to watch yesterday in the state tournament. So, as mentioned, Archangels Catholic and Elgin Public Pope John are tipping off here in a matter of a moment. Technical difficulties at the moment. So we'll keep that updated and keep that on the back burner. But to set the table for today, you have 6 games across the board. 3 games in the morning to the afternoon session. There's a little bit of a break where we'll send it back to me here to talk about those games plus the night games. Let's start in D2. Game coming up now, Elgin Pope John taking on Orange Angels Catholic. As mentioned, technical difficulties. We'll send it out to Nick Sander when we get that. Elgin Pope John started the tournament with a dicey win over Pleasanton, 46-44, then defeated GAC, Guard Angels Central Catholic, by 11 yesterday to push themselves into a state title. Elgin Pope John coming in now with a 25-3 record, and they're going to be facing Archangels Catholic, who's 26-2. Archangels Catholic defeated Falls City Sacred Heart in the first round on Wednesday, and then they defeated St. Mary's last night in a 5-point game. So that sets the table for those two teams playing at 9 a.m. Remind you, 11 a.m. we'll have that game right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. There'll be number 2 Ashland Greenwood, entered the tournament with only 1 loss to their record, beat Lincoln Christian by 12 in the first round yesterday. Played Auburn Bulldogs, and Ashland Greenwood Blue Jays have it feels like every March they run into one another in some shape or form, first round, semifinals, or the championship game. And that happened once again. And Ashland got the best of Auburn in that one. So that sets the table for Ashland Greenwood against number 4, DC West. As mentioned, DC West beat GICC, Great Island Central Catholic, in the first round, 49-41 in a low-scoring affair. And then turn around with a 43-39 win over undefeated Ogallala. Ogallala was 26-0 entering yesterday morning and about 24 hours ago. And then all of a sudden, DC West is flying to a state championship game. You have DC West, Ashland Greenwood, 11 a.m. today. That game can be heard right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Following that one, you get a Class A game that's very interesting. You have a Class A game between Lincoln Southwest and Papillion La Vista South. Lincoln Southwest is a LPS school who had, LPS has been behind Omaha, the Metro, in the last couple of years. And it'd just be interesting to see if they can finally get it done. Beating Westside in the semifinals yesterday to punch their ticket to a state championship game, playing against Papillion La Vista South, who defeated Creighton Prep in the first round, and then defeated Bellevue West, the Thunderbirds, a team that's a staple in the state tournament in March. And Bellevue West is always there. West Side's been there a couple of years. So you set the table for a Southwest versus Papillion La Vista South game at 1 o'clock today. And then we'll have a little bit of a break, which then sets the table for a 3 o'clock game. After those 3, and then you have Norfolk Catholic versus Bergen. And then Bergen's a team, they're an interesting group. Because a year ago, they entered as the underdog team, a very young team. And they've played Freeman in the first round. And Bergen, took all that run, took all that championship. Now they're back again. And now they are facing Norfolk Catholic, another perennial powerhouse in C2. They've been in the tournament forever. So you get that matchup between those two teams. And then it sets the table for a Class B. Class B, the semifinal games yesterday. Because last night, if you go to the semifinals, Scott Catholic and Norris were the two teams who people basically had as your state championship. Just, 1 and 2 seeds. They were both dominant all year. They've been at this moment the past couple of years. And it seemed like they were kind of on a collision course between the Skyhawks and the Titans in Class B. However, neither one of them is playing today. Elkhorn North, a team who they didn't have a Britt Prince on their team, on the boys' team. They had, the girls' team obviously had Britt Prince, and that makes a huge difference in high school basketball. But they struggled out of the gate when they opened the doors in 2020 for their basketball program. They never got off on the right foot. Make it the state tournament a couple of years ago. Made it last year. Get the taste of the state tournament. But then here they are in the semifinal game against the 3-time defending champions in the Skyhawks and pull it off. And the Wolves are heading to their first ever state title game in boys basketball ever. So that sets the table for the Wolves playing at 6 o'clock tonight against a team that's staying across the road here from our studios here. Number 3, Scotts Bluff, the Bearcats. Nate Kelly, if you were able to watch that guy play, he's one of those guys he's been in the state tournament all 4 years, freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior, and just is able to, will the Bearcats to state. Scotts Bluff 2 years ago made the semifinals and lost to Norris. Last year made it to the championship game and lost to, the defending champions, Scott Kavlik, and their, teams like Brock Scholl. They had Dylan Van Dyke. They had a really talented team there, the Skyhawks. But Scotts Bluff, a team that comes out west, a lot of those Western teams, the scheduling is hard to put together because look at the location. It's hard. You can't just drive 7 hours on a Tuesday night to Lincoln and play a Lincoln area team in Class B or an Omaha school like Bennington or Elkhorn North or whatnot. So that sets the table for Scotts Bluff, who then beats Wahoo, another team that's always in the state tournament, no matter of class. Between Scotts Bluff and Wahoo, Scotts Bluff gets past them. Scotts Bluff plays Norris, a rematch, as I mentioned, from the Class B semifinals 2 years ago. This time, Scotts Bluff gets the last laugh. Nate Kelly drops 27 points, has a monster game before last night in the nightcap at PBA. So it's interesting, as Norris really was Norris was down 13 at one point in the second half. And then they started to adjust to Nate Kelly, double team him, and you ended up seeing Norris make a rally. Norris ties the game at one point. Scotts Bluff needs to get something to go. Scotts Bluff needs a shot to fall. They need something. And Nate Kelly's doubled, driving to the rim. He only shot 1 3 the entire night. He's a slasher. He's going to get to the rim. You're not going to stop him. So then you get this Nate Kelly's double team, triple team on the block. Clock's running down, shot clock's running down. You're Scotts Bluff holding a very slim lead. And then kicks it out for 3. Bang. Scotts Bluff, the dagger. Norris had a couple more looks at it, but couldn't, I think they got 3 offensive boards, had 3 chances at 3, missed every single one of them. Scotts Bluff gets the board, and then Scotts Bluff's able to dribble it out in a sense. Scotts Bluff's able to pretty much put some free throws down. Nate Kelly wills the Bearcats to a state championship game for a second time in 2 seasons. So that puts Scotts Bluff against Elkhorn North. Very interesting. A lot of people are talking Scott and Norris, but now you're getting a Scotts Bluff and Elkhorn North championship game. And to cap off the slate of games for the state championships, 7:45 tonight, D1, you'll get number 1, Howells Dodge, against number 6, McCool Junction. McCool Junction, 6th seed entering in the tournament in D1. Beat East Butler, a 1-loss team on the entire year. McCool Junction, 19-6. The record doesn't jump off the board compared to a lot of those other teams in that class. With Howells Dodge only with 3 losses, Elm Creek with 5, and then Lutheran High Northeast 22-4. East Butler 25-1. McCool Junction beats East Butler. And then last night beat Lutheran High Northeast. They beat the 3 and the 2 seed to get to the state championship game, and they'll play a 25-3 Howells Dodge team. So that sets the table for championship Saturday across the board. Very excited. Should have some really good games. An update out in D2. Reminder, technical difficulties from our side right now. Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman on standby. Archangels Catholic leading Elgin Pope John 10-3. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. As you see that right now, as Archangels Catholic holding a lead early. I mean, it's early in the year. Braden Johansson with 8 of those 10 points for Archangels Catholic to lead the way early on in that one. It's early. I mean, comebacks happen. We saw it across the board. We've seen it in Nebraska ball this entire year as well. So I'm excited. If you are heading down the Pinnacle Bank Arena, it is worth the watch. There's nothing like it. I mean, if you were able to watch the women's tournament last week, it's worth it. And then you get to see the men's tournament if you're throughout the entire grind of the week. It's a spectacle to see, especially even if you have like no say in who it is and who you want to see win. It's fun to watch just the level of play. I think also with the adding a shot clock a couple of years ago, obviously they added that to A and B. Now it's across the board. There were some, people skeptical of it. Like, how are they going to get this approach with the shot clock in high school ball? You have to have somebody to run it at every single location. But regardless, I think it only enhances the level of play across the board. You get to see some really good players. Nate Kelly, especially. Nate Kelly's a guy for Scotts Bluff you don't get to see on a daily basis out here in Lincoln because they're all the way in Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. That's just how they're located. They play a lot of Wyoming schools and teams from Colorado just due to their scheduling for Scotts Bluff because of where they're located. I think that during Christmas break, they usually take one trip down here and play in a tournament and play a couple teams in the Omaha, Lincoln area just to get some games to help their wild card points. That is why Scotts Bluff's a 3 seed. 21-4, and last year I think was the year they were kind of overlooked as a Class B school because you have your Norrises, your Scutts, and Wahoos and whatnot in Class B. But your Scotts Bluff did beat Bennington last year. Came down here in the month of December, January, and beat them. They went to the state tournament last year. I feel like this team kind of have a chip on its shoulder because of where they're, people see Scotts Bluff, you probably don't play anybody just because, and they play who they got to play. That's just what they do. They can control, and that's just what they do. So now they're in a state championship game once again and have a good chance to win a state title for Scotts Bluff. Elkhorn North, they got Sutton Pikowski. So it should be a fun one across the board between all those teams making it down the trip to Lincoln once again in the state tournament. So once again, technical difficulties out at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Update on that game before we go to break. Archangels Catholic holding a 12-5 lead with under a minute to go in the first quarter. Stand by. We will have the C1 through the rest of them on the air as I get a word that we will have those games. Sounds like we will, but technical difficulties from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nick Whyman filling in Ticket Weekends. If you want to join the chat, 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. We're done talking about high school. We set the table for that game. We'll come back to it at the top of the hour, but we will talk about the Nebraska basketball game. We saw what happened yesterday. Jake Sorensen and DP were up there for us at 93.7 the Ticket, and they were able to not only catch Nebraska, Purdue, but also the other Big Ten games because there were some pretty good games in the Big Ten tournament. Across the board, you had an overtime game between Wisconsin and Illinois. You had Ohio State pushing Michigan, UCLA, and Michigan State, the nightcap there from United Center in Chicago. Some fun games across the board. So when we come back, we'll talk about the Big Ten tournament and preview the semifinals of the conference tournament because there's still games to be played. I know Nebraska lost, but there are still games to be played throughout. So we'll be right back. Ticket Weekends. Remind you, technical difficulties for the D2 final. From Pinnacle Bank Arena. We will have that on the air as soon as possible. Nick Whyman here at the 93.7 The Ticket Studios. We'll be right back.
Parents deal with a lot of what ifs. What if my child gets a scholarship? What if they don't? What if they go to college? Or what if they pursue a trade? Nest 529 makes it easy to save for higher education costs, so you're always prepared for life's what-ifs. Learn more at nest529.com/hoops. Check with your home state to learn if it offers tax or other benefits for investing in its own 529 plan. Investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, no bank guarantee.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front of the line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
And electrical.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
State high school basketball coverage from Pinnacle Bank Arena is proudly sponsored by Peru State College, Nebraska's first college helping students excel on and off the court for more than 150 years. At Peru State College, you'll find affordable tuition, a close-knit community, and flexible programs designed to fit your goals. Whether you plan to compete in college athletics or get involved across campus, Peru State helps you reach your full potential in the classroom and beyond. Pursue your potential at Peru State College. Learn more about programs, scholarships, and book your campus visit at peru.edu.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Winning is about more than wanting it. It's about working for it. As Bulldogs, we see that hard work pay off every day. In the classroom, in our faith, in competition. At Concordia, the momentum is building, and you can be a part of it. Join a winning team at Concordia University, Nebraska.
General Excavating has been a leading underground utilities contractor for nearly 40 years, and they're growing. General Excavating is hiring for more than 50 positions with offices in Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Cheyenne. Positions range from senior project managers to superintendents, utilities foremen, heavy equipment operators, journeyman plumbers, field mechanics, and more. They offer competitive wages, benefits, and PTO with a culture built on the importance of safety. Apply today at generalexcavating.com or call 402-467-1627 for more information. Attention Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill welcomes out-of-towners to Lincoln for state high school basketball and congratulates your schools on making it to the tournament. Your local bar is comfortable and you know the regulars. Find that experience at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, where it's a small-town feel with lots of space. Big groups are more than welcome, so come on by before or after your team plays to experience great food, great drinks, and great times, all at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, downtown at 10th and P.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Ticket Weekends. Nick Whyman here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you're just joining us, technical difficulties on Nick Sainert's part out at Pinnacle Bank Arena as the D2 championship game is nearing the end of the first half. It is flying by, folks. 9:33, first game tipped off at 9 a.m. Between Archangels, not Archangels. I stand corrected. I am not perfect by any means, but Archangels Catholic leading 18-5. In that one right now in the Class D2 championship game against Elgin Public Pope John. 18-5 so far. So defense, they're eliminating Elgin Pope John so far. 18-5, start off the game, pulling ahead right now. It is nearing half, 4 minutes to go, media timeout, as that one is nearing the end of the first half already. Game is flying by. I mean, we saw a game last week like that with Malcolm and Milford. In the girls, I mean, they were making threes left and right. It was 18-17 after the first quarter. No timeouts were getting called. It was just a high-octane, high-shooting level kind of game. So, as mentioned, technical difficulties. We will have the 11 a.m. game between Ashland Greenwood and DC West at around 11 o'clock. But until then, Nick Whyman here, Starter Heyman Jewelers text line 402-464-5685. That's 402-464-5685. As mentioned, Big Ten basketball tournament. NSA tournament's not the only one going on, but the Big Ten tournament's going on. And Nebraska played yesterday. If you listened to postgame after we covered the high school games, you were able to chat about it. Jake Sorensen and DP made the trip up to Chicago. Not a long trip, but it is a trip. They went up there for Nebraska, who was the 2 seed in the Big Ten, taking on number 7 Purdue yesterday. Nebraska, I mean, last year, this team didn't even make the Big Ten tournament. I think that's a good thing to point out before we talk about this game. Purdue is a team who's made the semifinals or the finals of the Big Ten tournament several times in the past 4 to 5 years. experienced team. Matt Painter has played and coached in some of the biggest games for Purdue. And this is a Nebraska team. Remind you, they did not even make the Big Ten tournament last year. A lot of these guys haven't really played in a Big Ten tournament game of this stature before. It's a different season. That's why winning in March is so hard to do. And, slow start. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Jake Sorensen, got off the phone with him. He might call in. We'll keep our eyes peeled here, as always. He's still in Chicago as we speak, but making the trip, flying back here to Lincoln, as always. So I think a slow start is the biggest thing to talk. If you want to talk a little bit more about Husker basketball this morning, 402-464-5685. This Purdue team, it is very similar to the first time these two teams played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, where Nebraska just kind of dug themselves into a hole and had to try to find some kind of way to dig them out. It wasn't a 22-point gap, but down 41-20 at the half, and just could never really chip into that deficit as Purdue just continued to pull ahead. Purdue, 4 of their 5 starters in double figures. Fletcher Lawyer leading the way with 19, 50% from the floor. That's another thing. I mean, they shot 32% from the three-point line, made all their free throws, 86%, only missed 2, 45% from the floor. If Purdue's going to do that, they're going to win a lot of ball games. And them as a 7 seed Nebraska, just a bad matchup in general. Purdue, Oscar Clough is down there. He's going to get his boards. They're going to get rebounds. That's just how that Purdue team plays. They've always had some tall player. Oscar Clough ends up with 9 rebounds. Troy Kaufman-Wren ends up with 9 as well. Those two just gave Nebraska fits throughout and just could not figure it out. So Purdue, there was a little bit of a spurt that Nebraska cut it to single digits in the second half, and you had a little bit of belief, like a little bit of throwback to when these two teams met in Pinnacle Bank Arena. No slip, though. No Jamarcus Lawrence. No slip gate or whatever you want to call it this time around, though. But Purdue holds on for the win in a 74-58 game. Virginia Empire, Nick, physicality is clearly an issue at this point. I found it interesting if you of the guys mentioned getting their swagger back. Hopefully they can write that over the next week or so. You thinking 3 seed, Nick? Thank you, Virginia Pirate, for tuning in as well on this R. Heyman Julius text line. They mentioned like, hey, we got to get our confidence back. Obviously started the year with multiple wins in a row and then suffered those close losses to Michigan without 2-year players. Illinois, you lose that game as well. Iowa obviously happens on the road in Iowa City. Then out in Pauley Pavilion against UCLA, a team that does not lose at home. They just do not lose in Los Angeles. They fall to them. So then that sets up a end of the season to get the win against Iowa in overtime. That game, Nebraska had that game in the bag, and then Iowa just made some tough shots down the stretch to force overtime. Nebraska ends senior day with a win. Go into the Big Ten tournament, and you play a Purdue team who can boost their resume. Here's the thing I think about talking about Virginia Pirate, what you're talking about. What are you thinking proceeding? I think for Power 4 basketball, I think playing in the tournaments, your conference tournament, you should only be able to boost your resume, not hurt your resume. I know people are like, oh, they should be a 4 seed because they lost. You're playing an extra game against another quality team. You shouldn't be punished for playing extra games, especially in your conference where we get down the rest of the conference. There was some interesting games as well. So Nebraska falls in that game. I think it was just slow starts. Against good teams, you can get away with that against some a Maryland or a Northwestern sometimes, or a Minnesota, and then go on a USC, go on a run there, and then put the game out of reach with that little run. But a team like Purdue, I don't think you can really get away with that, or like a Michigan or whatnot. You can't fall behind by double figures in the first half and then expect a comeback. Nebraska just didn't shoot free throws, really. They went 4 of 9, 44% from the line as well. The way their offense is played, it's a lot of, not really crashing the basket, a lot of shooting threes and shooting jumpers and whatnot. But when they do get in the paint, they don't really get a lot of calls. And it's just in general, just because they don't really crash the boards and whatnot. Just just how Nebraska's style of play. Not just this year, but in past years under Fred Hoiberg. I mean, if you're going to shoot under 50% on free throws, shoot under 35% from three, 10 of 31 from three, both teams 32%, ironically. They need to figure out a way to get everybody involved. They're playing mostly 3-on-5, it feels like sometimes too, where three guys on your offensive end are the guys contributing to the production, and the other two guys are just kind of there to be not really decoys, but there to be a distraction and maybe hit one big shot. So Burke Buchengel with 3 points, 1 of 3 shooting. Price Sanford, 6 of 14, 3 of 8 from 3 with 15 points for the Huskers in his 35 minutes played. And now when he also hauled 4 rebounds. Other starter in double figures was Rink Mast with 11. He was 4 of 9 from the floor. He had a little bit of a run there in the first half where it's like, okay, maybe Rink Mast is the Rink Mast we all thought we saw in October, November. But then things went cold. Everybody kind of went cold from the floor. Jamarcus Lawrence with 6, Sam Hoiberg with 5. Off the bench, Nebraska, none of the 4 guys who played off the bench score in double figures. Braden Frater scores 8. Jared Garcia with 6. Cale Jacobson with 4. And then Kendall Blue in the 2 minutes he played at the end of the game. No points, no shots attempts. So just finding a way. I think that's the biggest thing. And with this, you mentioned 3 seed Virginia Pirate on our text line. I still think Nebraska is a 3 seed. Just 26-6 overall on the season. You don't want to be reactionary to just a small sample size. Purdue's a good basketball team. They're 25-8. They're playing in the Big Ten semifinals today. Have a chance to maybe win a Big Ten championship, despite being a 7 seed in this conference. I think that just shows the depth of this conference as well. So that gives you Purdue moving on. Nebraska's 26-6. I mean, look at their losses. Nebraska has 6 losses. Some to Michigan, 2 to Purdue, Illinois. Iowa and UCLA are quote-unquote bad losses, but I wouldn't even say they're bad. They're both tournament teams. And you know how play them at the end of the year, Iowa played pretty darn good in Iowa City, and UCLA, if the tournament was played in Pauley Pavilion, I mean, UCLA might be a contender just the way they play there. I don't know what's in the air there at Pauley Pavilion, the ghost of UCLA programs past. I don't know. There's an interesting standpoint from where Nebraska sits. 26-6. I still think that is good enough for a 3 seed. I mean, you look at other teams. Michigan State lost yesterday. Iowa State loses off the last second shot to Arizona. You just look where everything kind of stands in the Big Ten. So let's do just that. Nebraska, before we move on to the other Big Ten games, Nebraska, I think you wiped the slate clean. It's a new season. This was technically a new season. Well, it wasn't a long season with just 1 loss in the Big Ten tournament, 1 and done. Quick trip back to Lincoln with the 74-58 loss to the Boilermakers. Wipe the slate clean. As you mentioned, a lot of players saying they want to get their confidence back, want to get their swagger back. They have time. They are going to play in Thursday or Friday next week. TBD location. We'll find that out Sunday during Selection Sunday. But this Nebraska team is for sure in, obviously. I feel like we haven't sat here during a Selection Sunday and been like, oh, Nebraska is for sure in the tournament, or been very confident where Nebraska is going to be playing in March. Because the 1 year, 2 years ago, Keisei Tominaga, they were, okay, they're in, but what line are they? Now you're sitting here thinking, okay, 3 seed, 4 seed. I think more than likely a 3 seed, just based off of where they're sitting. Virginia Pirates says, I'm thinking 3 seed. The regular season conference record should be awarded, in my opinion. Line up the resumes. It's a no-brainer to me. To Fred's defense, have had a few guys go down for the year he expected to have. That is very true. I think people really overlooked that with Connor Siege and Oogie. This swagger thing they're monitoring is a little concerning to me, but Fred rallied after the end of the season last year, so hopefully that gets again. On those 3 points, I think you hit it right on the nail with that first one, Virginia Pirate. The regular season conference record should be rewarded. You're playing an extra game in your conference. You shouldn't get punished for being reactionary in the moment. Okay, yes, they lost to Purdue 74-58 or whatever. You shouldn't, you lost by double digits to Purdue. You're a 4 seed now. You can't be reactionary just to a small sample size. Nebraska's 26-6 for a reason. They're a solid basketball team. I don't think you get reactionary with that. we'll get to the other points. We're going to take a break before we close out the hour. A reminder, technical difficulties with the D2 championship game. Elgin Pope John, Archangels Catholic, leading a low-scoring 19-6 at the halftime break over at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Reminder, technical difficulties there. We'll have the 11 a.m. game, but until then, you will have me on the call here at 93.7 The Ticket. I'll give you updates as much as I can throughout the morning before we send you off to Ashland, Greenwood, and DC West around 11 o'clock from Pinnacle Bank Arena, and then the other 4 championship games the rest of the way. So before we go to break, we'll go back to Virginia Pirates questions and recap that. We will then take another break, set the table for the top of the hour, and we'll look ahead to the rest of the schedule for Big Ten basketball because there are some good games going on. I think I'll leave it at that. I think there are some takeaways from this weekend. I think this weekend might be better than maybe someone think. I think watching these conference championship games is really a lot of fun in general and learning who you could pick in your bracket and whatnot. So we'll be right back. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ticket Weekends, Nick Whyman.
Winning is about more than wanting it. It's about working for it. As Bulldogs, we see that hard work pay off every day. In the classroom, in our faith, in competition. At Concordia, the momentum is building, and you can be a part of it. Join a winning team at Concordia University, Nebraska.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill welcomes out-of-towners to Lincoln for state high school basketball and congratulates your schools on making it to the tournament. Your local bar is comfortable and you know the regulars. Find that experience at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, where it's a small-town feel with lots of space. Big groups are more than welcome, so come on by before or after your team plays to experience great food, great drinks, and great times, all at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, downtown at 10th and P. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful, with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work, to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. State high school basketball coverage from Pinnacle Bank Arena is proudly sponsored by Peru State College, Nebraska's first college helping students excel on and off the court for more than 150 years. At Peru State College, you'll find affordable tuition, a close-knit community, and flexible programs designed to fit your goals. Whether you plan to compete in college athletics or get involved across campus, Peru State helps you reach your full potential in the classroom and beyond. Pursue your potential at Peru State College. Learn more about programs, scholarships, and book your campus visit at peru.edu.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call
John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
and electrical.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life. General Excavating has been a leading underground utilities contractor for nearly 40 years, and they're growing. General Excavating is hiring for more than 50 positions with offices in Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Cheyenne. Positions range from senior project managers to superintendents, utilities foremen, heavy equipment operators, journeyman plumbers, field mechanics, and more. They offer competitive wages, benefits, and PTO with a culture built on the importance of safety. Apply today at generalexcavating.com or call 402-467-1627 for more information. Parents deal with a lot of what ifs. What if my child gets a scholarship? What if they don't? What if they go to college? Or what if they pursue a trade? Nest 529 makes it easy to save for higher education costs, so you're always prepared for life's what ifs. Learn more at nest529.com/hoops. Check with your home state to learn if it offers tax or other benefits for investing in its own 529 plan. Investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, no bank guarantee.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Nick Whyman here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Filling in technical difficulties over at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Right now, Archangels Catholic leading 19-6 over Elgin Public Pope John. We were going to talk about the Big Ten tournament, but we have a special guest coming in. Calling all the way from Chicago, Illinois, Jake Sorensen is here. Jake, how are you doing? You're awake. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right, Nick. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's been an interesting trip to Chicago. Number one, just because my hotel is 95 miles away from downtown. That was my fault. Not really that, but feels like it here in Oak Park. I don't know Chicago very well, clearly. But in terms of the game itself, yesterday, that was rough. That was unfortunate. I think Nebraska fans are trying to tell themselves it's okay because it's all about next week. But I guess, fight back and say I'd like to feel good about how my season ended before I go to the big dance. And a loss is one thing, but getting beat by 16 points is another thing. And yeah, it's tough to swallow right now.
Slow starts, I think, is the biggest issue for sure across the board. It's just annoying at this point because it just feels like it happens every game. You can only get away with it so many times, especially against so many, especially this time of year against so many quality teams. I don't know the fix for it, but just need some shots to go down early. Also, free throw shooting under 50% free throw shooting. I mean, it was only 4 of 9, but still, like, you got to make your freebies to help you cut into a deficit.
That's been a problem the last 3 games. UCLA, they were terrible in free throws in that game. Iowa, of course, Jamarcus has missed the 2 late ones that were killer that made it go to overtime. And yeah, they made shots in OT. That's great, but right now there's just some trepidation because they're not. I mean, I don't think that they are falling apart, but they're not playing their best basketball. I even saw Jamarcus Lawrence say in post-game yesterday that he said that they're going through some adversity right now, and I'm just curious if it's something. Just with the fact the team's not playing well or things aren't working the way they were, I don't know what that means. But it's certainly, if you're a Husker fan hoping to see that first ever win for Nebraska in the dance, and yeah, there'll be a high seed, a 3 or 4 seed. There's concern right now that they're not playing their best ball going in, and 2 of the last 3 games have been blowout losses, which is not ideal.
Virginia Pirate on the chat says he's thinking Nebraska's a 3 seed. Regular season and conference records should be awarded, in my opinion. Line up the resumes. It's a no-brainer. He said, to Fred's defense, have had a few guys down for the year that he expected to have. He said the swagger thing they're mentioning is a little concerning, but Fred rallied them after the end of the season last year, so hopefully Nebraska gets that again. I mean, yeah, I think 3 seed, Jake, I think you shouldn't get punished for playing extra games. You look at the body of work. It's not college football where, they should be this, that, because you play one game and play one game doesn't go your way. 26-6 is 26-6, regardless of who you're playing. So, and go ahead.
But the problem is that they were 20-0, and now they're 26. I mean, the record's outstanding. It's a great record, best of all time for Nebraska. We get that, but it's how'd you get there? And no one's taken away from the fact that it's been a great season. They can still have a run in the tournament. That's the beauty of it. Some teams that go in are trendy upset picks and end up winning that first game and win the next game, the ones that aren't playing that great of basketball, because everything resets next week. So you're right, though. The big thing is, Nebraska needs to stop getting so far behind. And that's defensively, that's off. It's both sides. Like if you're going to have a slow start offensively, you got to play better defense. And so they just kind of they're not meshing the way they need to. And in credit, Nebraska came back. They made a 2-point game at one point in that first half, but then it got away from them again. And second half, they couldn't get close enough. Got down to 8, and that was it. So now Purdue's a bad matchup, but guess what? You're in now the tournament where there's going to be a lot of bad matchups. These are all big basketball teams that play in March Madness, so you can't use an excuse. Like you're not playing Maryland and Oregon, teams that are bad this year in the Big Ten. You're playing teams that either are getting at-large bids because they deserve it, or teams that are on a heater that won their small conference tournament and have nothing to lose because they're underdogs, and that's the dangerous team to play in the dance.
And we've seen, 3 seeds lose to 14 seeds, and it happens almost every year. It happens, and
it does. It does.
And you just need to wipe this. I think the biggest thing is just wiping the slate clean. We said that after the regular season, losing to UCLA, gutting it out with Iowa. Hey, it's a new season. You lose the second season in Chicago, didn't go as long as people thought. But look at the Big Ten tournament in general. I mean, UCLA beating Michigan State. You have Michigan getting pushed by Ohio State. And you have Wisconsin, who is a very different team than the Wisconsin team that came here to Lincoln months ago. So, if you would have told me Wisconsin, UCLA, and Purdue were going to be in the semifinals, I mean, I think that just shows that the depth of the conference and how strong it is, especially a Michigan team who got pushed by an 8 seed UCLA, who's been a sneaky team throughout the entire year. So excited to see what goes on today in Chicago. Jake, from your point of view, what was it like up there at the United Center? Have you ever been to the United Center before?
I have been there once before. A couple of years ago, the ticket was actually an affiliate for Chicago Bulls basketball, believe it or not. So we had some tickets in potentially the worst ever seats that I've been in my entire life. It's in the rafters of the building. It called it a suite experience, and we had like a baseline view, so not even straight on to the court. And I had like jerseys up there in my way, which is a different story itself. But no, we had good seats this time. Me and DP sat down low, got some tickets, decided to get some tickets because the media section was so high. So that was fun, and fun arena, fun place. Had some good food. It was a fun experience, kind of in the entryway with some just fun items for the Big Ten. So, yeah, it was a good time. It's unfortunate. And you mentioned UCLA there for a second. I don't want to go there, but like Michigan State, they lost, but they lose a close game. I think Nebraska fans feel better about a loss if they lose like that, where, okay, you lost by 3 or lost by 2. It's a 16-point gut punch, which is hard to swallow here, Nick.
Yeah, it's also like if UCLA makes a run to the championship game, or if Purdue ends up winning it, it's like, hey, you lost to the Big Ten champion, the Big Ten conference champions. That's helps. I still think a 3 seed. I don't think they fall to a 4 seed. I think that's reactionary. I think it's a 3 seed regardless. You saw a team like Michigan State lose. I don't think Iowa State lost last night in a buzzer beater as well. So the teams that Nebraska could maybe jump them are losing. So and we'll see what happens today. There's a lot of basketball still to be played over the next 2 days. Should be interesting. Of the 4 teams left in the Big Ten, what are your overall not really predictions, but thoughts on just the 4 teams left up there in Chicago going into today?
I think it's a statement. I don't think Michigan played great basketball yesterday, but they're the only team left standing of the triple bye. So I still think they're the favorites to win it all. I do think that Ohio State, who they beat, is going to be a problem in the dance. They can win a game or 2. They're starting to play better basketball. But of the teams left, I mean, UCLA, Donovan Dent is playing great basketball right now. He's an assist machine. He can score when he has to. He doesn't always score a ton of points, but curious how they'll do with Bilodeau. I'm not sure if he's coming back tomorrow, what the extent of the injury is, but that's obviously not good. They still survived that game and won. And I think right now the scariest team is Wisconsin. Wisconsin beat Illinois, who wasn't playing their best basketball coming in, but still a massive win. You saw Blackwell and Boyd go off. And those two, when they're on, it's probably the best guard combination in the country, if not one of the best. So those guys were both exceptional. And I think Wisconsin's a terrifying team right now. So I'm not sure who to pick. My gut tells me to take the Badgers to win the Big Ten title.
That'd be a story. They lose by 30 in Lincoln and end up on top of the Big Ten. Hey, Greg Gard's team's playing hot. They picked the hottest team. That's just what March is. And we've seen in past years, teams like last year, Florida, did they blow out everybody in the big dance? No, they won some close games. That's just what the beauty of March is. Jake, what's the rest of the day looking like for you?
Got to check out the hotel, head to the airport here shortly. I'm just going to get my way back to Lincoln. Shout out to the Lincoln Airport, making our travel possible. And thanks to Runza and John Henry's and Penner Spinkler & Law for having our coverage for Chicago be possible for the Big Ten tournament. So those guys are awesome, and you should support them. But, yeah, about to check out the hotel, head to the airport, and I got a 12:45 flight back to Lincoln. So get back about 2:45 and prepare for tomorrow with Election Sunday and all the chaos of that. And I'll probably tune into some high school hoops on the ticket, of course, Nick. Yep, in about an hour, we got Class C1, Ashland, Greenwood, DC West. Had some pretty good games last night. I don't know if you were able to see what was going on, but you have Lincoln Southwest upsetting Omaha West Side. You had the 2 upsets in Class B with Norris and Scott losing. Elkhorn North and Scottsbluff. Scottsbluff, their bus just got back across the street here. They just had like a team breakfast. I walked by on my way in. They were leaving for breakfast. I asked. So that's the championship day for Scottsbluff, I guess. Hey, team bonding. That's what you do, I guess. They're playing who? What's the Class B title game?
Number 3, Scottsbluff. Number 4, Elkhorn North. Scottsbluff beat Norris last night. Elkhorn North beat Scott, the 3-time defending champs. They went out and did some shoot around or something like that this morning. Got some breakfast. Now they're back in the hotel doing whatever they want. So they're right across the street from us.
I'll tell you this. This is going to sound biased. Maybe I'm wrong, but okay. I am pulling for Scottsbluff. I like when the Western Nebraska schools do well because no one talks about them ever. We don't get to see them at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
I like Scott. I'm not always pull for them, but I'm glad to see Scottsbluff make the finals. I hope that they win. I'm biased in that one. And because I thought Ogallala lost as the 1 seed in Class C1. Yep. So you got to have the West represent.
I mean, hey, I agree. Hey, they're right across the street from us, so I think we have to have some kind of pardon for them. So thank you, Jake. I'll let you go. Get to the airport. We're going to take a break here. Nick Whyman. We have one more hour until Ashland Greenwood DC West tips off. Ticket Weekends, Nick Whyman here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
When you or a loved one hears the words, "you have cancer," you want to make sure you're surrounded by a team you can trust, who will be a true partner in your cancer journey. At NHO, you'll be treated like family, and you'll feel that compassion every time you walk through our doors. After all, this is the fight of your life, and you'll need the best people to be on your side. We're Nebraska Hematology Oncology. On your side, by your side.
Winning is about more than wanting it. It's about working for it. As Bulldogs, we see that hard work pay off every day. In the classroom, in our faith, in competition. At Concordia, the momentum is building, and you can be a part of it. Join a winning team at Concordia University, Nebraska.
General Excavating has been a leading underground utilities contractor for nearly 40 years, and they're growing. General Excavating is hiring for more than 50 positions with offices in Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Cheyenne. Positions range from senior project managers to superintendents, utilities foremen, heavy equipment operators, journeyman plumbers, field mechanics, and more. They offer competitive wages, benefits, and PTO with a culture built on the importance of safety. Apply today at generalexcavating.com or call 402-467-1627 for more information.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
and electrical.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
General Excavating has been a leading underground utilities contractor for nearly 40 years, and they're growing. General Excavating is hiring for more than 50 positions with offices in Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Cheyenne. Positions range from senior project managers to superintendents, utilities foremen, heavy equipment operators, journeyman plumbers, field mechanics, and more. They offer competitive wages, benefits, and PTO with a culture built on the importance of safety. Apply today at generalexcavating.com or call 402-467-1627 for more information.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Parents deal with a lot of what ifs. What if my child gets a scholarship? What if they don't? What if they go to college? Or what if they pursue a trade? Nest 529 makes it easy to save for higher education costs, so you're always prepared for life's what ifs. Learn more at nest529.com/hoops. Check with your home state to learn if it offers tax or other benefits for investing in its own 529 plan. Investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, no bank guarantee.
When you or a loved one hears the words, "You have cancer," you want to make sure you're surrounded by a team you can trust, who will be a true partner in your cancer journey. At NHO, you'll be treated like family, and you'll feel that compassion every time you walk through our doors. After all, this is the fight of your life, and you'll need the best people to be on your side. We're Nebraska Hematology Oncology. On your side, by your side.
Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill welcomes out-of-towners to Lincoln for state high school basketball and congratulates your schools on making it to the tournament. Your local bar is comfortable and you know the regulars. Find that experience at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, where it's a small-town feel with lots of space. Big groups are more than welcome, so come on by before or after your team plays to experience great food, great drinks, and great times, all at Big Ten Sports Bar and Grill, downtown at 10th and P.
Winning is about more than wanting it. It's about working for it. As Bulldogs, we see that hard work pay off every day. In the classroom, in our faith, in competition. At Concordia, the momentum is building, and you can be a part of it. Join a winning team at Concordia University, Nebraska.
State high school basketball coverage from Pinnacle Bank Arena is proudly sponsored by Peru State College, Nebraska's first college helping students excel on and off the court for more than 150 years. At Peru State College, you'll find affordable tuition, a close-knit community, and flexible programs designed to fit your goals. Whether you plan to compete in college athletics or get involved across campus, Peru State helps you reach your full potential in the classroom and beyond. Pursue your potential at Peru State College. Learn more about programs, scholarships, and book your campus visit at peru.edu.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Nick Whyman, Ticket Weekends here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you're just joining us, you missed hour one as we are filling due to technical difficulties out at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nick Sainer and Jay Foreman, though, will be on the call for the 11 o'clock tip for the C1 game between Ashland Greenwood and the 4-seed Douglas County West. That game tipping off in about an hour from Pinnacle Bank Arena in the C1 state title. Ashland Greenwood, a staple to the state tournament, DC West, moving down from the Class B ranks to C1 after a year there, losing in the first round to Scott last year, beating undefeated Ogallala yesterday. So an upset, a good story to get behind. So it'll be fun to see that game tip off in a matter of about 60 minutes from PBA. But right now, as mentioned, technical difficulties from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Apologies, we will not have the D2 championship game broadcasted, but I will say the game right now, Archangels Catholic has the game in hand with under a minute to go in the third quarter. Archangels Catholic leading 37-14 over Elgin Public Pope John. Right now, Archangels Catholic shooting 41% from the floor. Not great from three with 18%. But on the other side, you look at Elgin Public Pope John, they are shooting 25%, 6 of 24 from the floor as a group. 3-point percentages down to 8%, 1 of 12, and free throws 42.9%. So those numbers don't read off well, and that reflects the score right now as with under 30 seconds to go, 37-16. Archangels Catholic is leading EPPJ in the Class D2 state championship game. Reminder, the rest of the day starting, we have 5 more games on tap. As mentioned, C1 DC West, Ashland Greenwood. To follow off that, Class A with number 4 Lincoln Southwest versus number 6 Papillion La Vista South. Following a little bit of break, we'll send it back here to me. And then around 4:15-ish, we'll get the second half of our coverage from PBA as number 5 Norfolk Catholic will face number 2 Bergen Catholic. And then Class B, 3 Scotts Bluff. Their bus just arrived back at the hotel across this road from our studios. They went to a little bit of morning shoot-around, breakfast and whatnot after last night's late win over Norris. 3 Scotts Bluff will play number 4 Elkhorn North. And then the cap off the 2026 edition of the NSA Boys State Basketball Championships will be the D1 game between number 1 Howells Dodge taking on number 6 McCool Junction. So Nick Whyman back here. Ticket Weekends. Reminder, technical difficulties from Pinnacle Bank Arena, filling for the next hour before the C1 championship game tips off at PBA. But as always, 402-464-5685. We've had a lot of fun so far. We talked about the NSA games going on, a lot of exciting games last night. We saw Nebraska basketball, not as exciting, seeing them bow out in the Big Ten tournament with a loss to the Purdue Boilermakers. And Jake Sorensen called in from Chicago. He's up and at it. He's getting ready to head back to the airport to make the trip back to the capital city before another week takes shape with the March Madness NCAA tournament coming up. Nebraska is going to be in. As always, we're going to get some of your texts here in the next hour. So if you want to join in the conversation, high school related, whatever or whatnot, there's a lot going on in the sports world. We haven't been able to talk a lot about it just due to the 4 days of covering the high school games, every game at Pinnacle Bank being heard right here. Haven't been able to talk a lot about Huskers just because you had about a couple hour gaps throughout, and then our late night, our ticket weeknights with Raps Could Take on Sports, Don't Punt Hour, and myself on Late Night Lincoln. But we haven't had a ton of time to talk during the day about Nebraska. Early break, obviously, there. So we'll get to the text line. We have plenty of texts coming in. Let's look at some of these texts that were sent in throughout the day. Virginia Pirate obviously chimed in. We talked to him in the past segment as well. Bill and Bennett chimes in. How about Husker baseball getting a walk-off win last night? I mean, yeah. I mean, it distract you from Husker basketball's loss in Big Ten play. Husker baseball and Husker softball getting wins yesterday. Husker baseball picking up a win against Maine. Walk-off win to start off the weekend. 2 games today, actually, because some weather is coming per the meteorologist. So a doubleheader at Haymarket Park today because of the potential snow. It's crazy to say. I don't understand the weather here. We never will. If you've lived in the Midwest, you will never understand the weather. Windy one day, cold, and then it's wearing shorts the next day, then you're back in pants and getting out the heavy jacket and the stocking cap. Never understand it, but I think that's the beauty of spring in the Midwest. You never know. You never know. You always got to keep a jacket in your car because it could be a nice day, and then once the sun goes down and the wind picks up, good old Midwest weather. You never keep you on your toes, essentially. So we'll get to that. Husker baseball, yeah. I mean, Husker baseball's avoided those midweek losses. We saw that. And Big Ten play, swept Michigan State. Michigan State, not the greatest Big Ten team, but hey, a win's a win. So it is what it is. Keep winning. And Nebraska baseball, they played that tough 2 to 3 weeks to begin the season with those games in Arizona, Texas. And some of them ended up on the losing end of whatnot. But hey, Big Ten plays coming up. The Big Ten Conference actually showing some life. UCLA is pretty good. USC's having one of their best starts to their NCAA baseball season. You got some pretty good alignment in Big Ten play. So Nebraska, like I said, it's not a sprint, it's a race. It's not a race, it's a sprint. You have a chance to do something. So Nebraska baseball should be interesting. 9112 says start Cale Jacobson and sit Jamarcus Lawrence. Back to Nebraska basketball. Reminder, they lost yesterday at Purdue. Quick Big Ten tournament for them. They'll be playing next Thursday or Friday in the NCAA tournament. More than likely it's a 3 seed. I see them as a 3 seed. I don't think you switch things up after 32 games. I don't think you switch things up. Just it's what Nebraska is. I mean, you're 26-6. I don't think you just hit the panic button because you've lost to some quality teams, Big Ten semifinalists. I don't think you press this panic button and change things up because let's say they do that and then things don't gel well. Well, then you look at that. Oh, you shouldn't have switched things up. You stay a course. You've gone this far. You've won 26 of 32 games throughout the season. You got to do what you got to do. And I don't think you switch it up. So, yeah, Bill and Bennett, thank you for chiming. Scott and Lincoln says, I think Purdue was just a bad matchup for Nebraska and that Nebraska caught UCLA at the wrong time. I think anybody who's played UCLA and Pauley Pavilions caught UCLA at the wrong time. UCLA, UCLA is such a funky team. Like I was curious to see how the Bruins played in Big Ten tournament play, being a team who came from, they've struggled outside of the West Coast since joining the conference. And that's no secret. That is facts. The team that comes to Chicago, obviously not on the West Coast. So you throw UCLA in there. They get past Rutgers, and then they play Michigan State yesterday, get the win there. UCLA, I think, who knows with injuries and whatnot, but they are a solid team. They're going to be a tournament team. They could make some noise in the tournament, depending on where it's located. If they play in like a California region or San Jose or something like that, watch out because they're good on that West Coast for some reason. That is one of the games to watch because UCLA versus Purdue should be a fun one. But yeah, Scott Lincoln, I think Purdue is it has been a bad matchup for Nebraska. There's no secret about that. Just the way Purdue has played and rebounded over the years. Matt Painter also. I also think it's very like Big Ten conference experience is a big thing, I think, because Purdue is a team that has played in the Big Ten conference semifinals and final a number of times over the years. And then you look at this Nebraska team, a lot of with the tournament expanding to everybody included, this is a team that didn't even make the tournament last year. And now you're being asked to play in a quarterfinal. Obviously, you have a couple days off and whatnot to get situated. You get to Chicago, triple bye, in a team who has not really played in a Big Ten tournament game like this before. I think it's a good thing in a sense. Like, obviously, do you want to lose a Big Ten game? No. It gave these guys kind of an experience what it's like to play in March. Like, obviously, we saw that the Crown last year, the college basketball Crown, but this group's a lot different than that group. There's no Bryce Williams. It's a little different. Price Sanford's here and whatnot. The team gets a chance to play a neutral site game before the big dance, gets a chance to see what it's like and play a quality team because Nebraska is going to more than likely be a 3 seed. They're going to play a 14 seed, a team like maybe a UC Irvine or a Hawaii or a North Dakota State, a team that's going to have no pressure on them. You know, you're the underdog team, and we've seen it in March Madness. That's what makes March Madness so special. Those teams like that, they go in and they play loose, come in. Maybe Nebraska gets like an 11-15 tip, and those teams come in, they hit a couple shots, and who knows from there. We've seen it with like St. Peter's and Fairleigh Dickinson and over time McNeese State last year. They're back in it this year. That's the magic of March. Regardless of where your stature is in a conference, it doesn't matter. We've seen UMBC. We've seen teams from Lehigh with CJ McCollum make some noise against Duke. It's interesting. Husker Army says, not sure if this was mentioned yet, but how crazy only 2 1 seeds made it today, D1 and D2. Yeah, you're talking high school basketball. Yeah, I agree. The tournament's been nuts. Seeding does not matter at state. You have to come to play regardless. You could be the 8th seed, and you could, give a team run for its money. Like Pius, 10-16, record doesn't jump out. They hung with Scott in the first round, lose by 10. 3-time defending champs were in control, but Pius hung around. Look at yesterday at Scott. Scott, 3-time defending champs against Elkhorn North, who's a relatively new school. Have Sutton Pikowski, Nike Orange Ball, a very talented group who's kind of been through the ups and downs of that program to start. Elkhorn North gets the last laugh and defeats the Skyhawks. So you have that game in Class B, and then you have Norris. Norris is a team that I had Jimmy Motes on Late Night Lincoln. You can check out that interview on our YouTube page and everywhere else you check out 93.7 The Ticket. Norris played all 7 teams in the Class B state tournament at some point during the regular season. Scott Catholic, Pius, Elkhorn North, Wahoo, Bennington, Scottsbluff, and Gretna East. Norris, Scott seemed like the more than likely preview for your Class B state championship game, as both teams have met in the finals just a couple of years ago. Both teams met in the semifinals last year. They met in the regular season, a really good ball game down in Firth. But Scottsbluff and Elkhorn North had other plans. And Nate Kelly, man, heck of a game. A guy who has been there, and I think like Jake Sorensen called in and talked about cheering for Scottsbluff. And he's not partial to anybody or whatnot, but the story of Scottsbluff would be very interesting if they somehow get it done, because last year came up short in the finals against Brock Scholl and that Scott Catholic team. If Scottsbluff can win a state title, because there's a lot of, naysayers and whatnot about the Western Nebraska. Oh, they don't play anybody. That is because they are where they're located. They just, it's impossible. They're not going to leave school at 3:00 or, noon, drive all the way to Omaha to play at Elkhorn or an Elkhorn North or a Bennington or whatnot, and then drive back because they have school. They play a lot of Wyoming and Colorado teams, and they win those games. But you get Scottsbluff and Elkhorn North. Elkhorn North's never won a state title in boys basketball. Like I said, they weren't Britt Prince in the Elkhorn North girls basketball program, where they had Britt Prince at their disposal and a lot of other really athletic players who are playing college volleyball at this moment. You have Reese Booth and Grace Heaney. They were on that team as well. Elkhorn North didn't really have that. They had a very young team, and they took their lumps their first couple of years as a varsity basketball program. And here they are going to a state championship, beating Wahoo, a perennial team that has some history behind them in March in the 4-5 matchup. Then they beat the Scott Catholic Skyhawks, who are the 3-time defending champions. And Husker Army, I think it's curious. Like, you look at the seedings. You have a 4-6 matchup in A, a 3-4 matchup in B, a 2-4 matchup in C1, and then C2 you have a 2-5 matchup, and then D1 you have the 1 seed Howells Dodge. They are one of the 2 1 seeds playing 6 McCool Junction, and then you go to D2 you have Elgin Pope John, who are playing right now against number 2 Archangels Catholic. We'll give an update on that game before we go to break here, but that is fascinating. I don't think seeding really matters. It's all off wildcard points too. So like a team could go undefeated and they don't play a great schedule, but they could be a 3 seed or a 2 seed because the 1 seed could be playing, one loss could be to a different quad of a team. So the wildcard system's a little funky. It's very hard to understand if you ever have dabbled in the high school ranks, not only in basketball, but football, baseball and whatnot, trying to figure it out. It's an algorithm that's very interesting to say the least. Some people like it, some people don't. I mean, you can't really have a high school football committee or whatnot and rank the teams each class. There's just too many games going on at once to have one person watch it. But the wildcard system is what it is. Is it perfect? I would say no, but it is a very good depiction of where your ranking is. So yes, Husker Army, there are only 2 1 seeds playing today. But that doesn't mean, 1 seed doesn't mean you're you're unbeatable. Omaha West Side came in as the 1 seed. They lost yesterday to Southwest. Scott Catholic came in as the 1 seed in Class B. They lost to Elkhorn North. Ogallala came in undefeated, losing in the second round to DC West after beating Syracuse. UTAN was the 1 seed in C2 coming in after a big win over EMF. They lose to Norfolk Catholic in a close one. And then D1 and D2 have the 1 seeds. So interesting to say the least. So we are about a half an hour from tip-off in Pinnacle Bank Arena for the Class C1 championship. An update before we go to break over at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Reminder, technical difficulties out there for this morning for the D2 championship games. Apologies from all of us here at the ticket. Archangels Catholic they've doubled up Elgin Pope John. A 44-22 lead for Archangels Catholic, leading Elgin Public Pope John in the Class D2 state championship game. We'll dive into that one when we come back and look a little bit more before we talk a little bit more. College basketball, big picture. Well, some notable games today. There's a lot of championship games of the mid-majors, a lot of championship games in the Big 12 and ACC, and then a preview of what to see on Selection Sunday, where Nebraska could end out being. So we'll be right back. Nick Whyman, Ticket Weekends. Reminder, technical difficulties. We will have the Class C1 championship game between Ashland Greenwood and DC West within the next 45 minutes here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
When you or a loved one hears the words, "You have cancer," you want to make sure you're surrounded by a team you can trust, who will be a true partner in your cancer journey. At NHO, you'll be treated like family, and you'll feel that compassion every time you walk through our doors. After all, this is the fight of your life, and you'll need the best people to be on your side. We're Nebraska Hematology Oncology. On your side, by your side.
Winning is about more than wanting it. It's about working for it. As Bulldogs, we see that hard work pay off every day. In the classroom, in our faith, in competition. At Concordia, the momentum is building, and you can be a part of it. Join a winning team at Concordia University, Nebraska.
State high school basketball coverage from Pinnacle Bank Arena is proudly sponsored by Peru State College, Nebraska's first college helping students excel on and off the court for more than 150 years. At Peru State College, you'll find affordable tuition, a close-knit community, and flexible programs designed to fit your goals. Whether you plan to compete in college athletics or get involved across campus, Peru State helps you reach your full potential in the classroom and beyond. Pursue your potential at Peru State College. Learn more about programs, scholarships, and book your campus visit at peru.edu. Parents deal with a lot of what ifs. What if my child gets a scholarship? What if they don't? What if they go to college? Or what if they pursue a trade? Nest 529 makes it easy to save for higher education costs, so you're always prepared for life's what-ifs. Learn more at nest529.com/hoops. Check with your home state to learn if it offers tax or other benefits for investing in its own 529 plan. Investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, no bank guarantee. State high school basketball coverage from Pinnacle Bank Arena is proudly sponsored by Peru State College, Nebraska's first college, helping students excel on and off the court for more than 150 years. At Peru State College, you'll find affordable tuition, a close-knit community, and flexible programs designed to fit your goals. Whether you plan to compete in college athletics or get involved across campus, Peru State helps you reach your full potential in the classroom and beyond. Pursue your potential at Peru State College. Learn more about programs, scholarships, and book your campus visit at peru.edu.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call
John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
And electrical.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
General Excavating has been a leading underground utilities contractor for nearly 40 years, and they're growing. General Excavating is hiring for more than 50 positions with offices in Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Cheyenne. Positions range from senior project managers to superintendents, utilities foremen, heavy equipment operators, journeyman plumbers, field mechanics, and more. They offer competitive wages, benefits, and PTO with a culture built on the importance of safety. Apply today at generalexcavating.com or call 402-467-1627 for more information. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
General Excavating has been a leading underground utilities contractor for nearly 40 years, and they're growing. General Excavating is hiring for more than 50 positions with offices in Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Cheyenne. Positions range from senior project managers to superintendents, utilities foremen, heavy equipment operators, journeyman plumbers, field mechanics, and more. They offer competitive wages, benefits, and PTO with a culture built on the importance of safety. Apply today at generalexcavating.com or call 402-467-1627 for more information.
High school basketball fans, take a trip over to the Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame while you're in town for state hoops. Admission is free, and it's a great way to learn about some of the greatest athletes and teams to come out of the state, from recently to over 100 years ago in all sports. Learn more about names like Gale Sayers, Johnny Rogers, Bob Gibson, Tom Osborne, and more. Open Wednesday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. It's the Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame, just north of Haymarket Park at 500 Charleston Street.
To the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Ticket Weekends. Nick Whyman here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Truly appreciate you all standing by. Nick Sainert as well as Jay Foreman. We'll have them in about a half an hour down from Pinnacle Bank Arena as Class D2 game is about to go final. 48 seconds to play in the fourth period. Archangels Catholic leading 47-30. We'll give a final score whenever that one goes final here in the next couple of minutes. In the Class D2 championship game. Reminder, technical difficulties down there, but we will have the 11 a.m. game between DC West and Ashland Greenwood coming up in a matter of moments from Pinnacle Bank Arena, followed by Class A and then C2, B, and D1 to wrap up our coverage of the 2026 NSAA Boys Basketball State Tournament. There's not the only tournament going on. If you've been locked in, this is the time of the year for March. If you watch all the conference tournaments, there is a lot going on across the board last night. A lot of wild games. We saw Arizona Jaden Bradley hit a buzzer beater to send the Arizona Wildcats to a Big 12 championship game, defeating Iowa State at the buzzer 80-80, and then Kansas losing to Houston sets the table for a Big 12 title. Staying in Big 10 country, though, Nebraska, obviously, one and done. You hate to see it if you're a Husker fan and whatnot, but the season moves forward. That was not an elimination game, as always. 26-6 overall record heading to the NCAA tournament. We'll find out where Nebraska goes. If you'd love to join the conversation, as always, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Allo Channel 961, or listen on the dial, Starter Heyman text line is open throughout the entire show. 402-464-5685. That is 402-464-5685. To set the table, we had already for the day. We saw Nebraska losing yesterday. There were some really good games in the Big Ten tournament, not just college basketball, just the Big Ten tournament. We dive into the Big Ten tournament yesterday. Michigan beating Ohio State 71-67 in that first game. It looked really dicey for a bit for the Wolverines, and we've seen them in some of these games in the Big Ten Conference where they've been close, but the Wolverines hold on to be the only triple bye team to move on to the semifinals of the Big Ten men's basketball tournament. Then we had Wisconsin, who might be one of the hottest teams in the country in general. Wisconsin, they came to Lincoln about a couple months ago and got the brakes beat off of them, losing by 30 to the Cornhuskers. Well, Wisconsin's in the Big Ten semifinals. They beat Illinois 91-88 in overtime. Nick Boyd, 38 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals in that one to defeat the Fighting Illini and advance to the Big Ten semifinals. Obviously, Nebraska, we talked a lot about that one. Jake Sorensen, thank you for calling in as well. The Purdue Boilermakers beating Nebraska 74-58. Fletcher Lawyer with 19 points to lead Purdue to a victory in that one. That sets the table for a interesting semifinals as well as UCLA. Donovan Dent, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 12 assists. What a game for a guard like that to defeat Jeremy Fears with his 21 points and 13 assists. Battle of the guards in that one as UCLA holds on for an 88-84 win over the Spartans. So that sets the table for this afternoon. You get number 1, Michigan against number 5, Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament. And then right after that one, you get the 7 seed Purdue facing the 6 seed in the UCLA Bruins. Before Sunday, this will be the final game before Selection Sunday takes center stage. So let's look across college basketball. Obviously, there is a lot going on today. The next 2 days, a lot of tickets get punched. We have 2 games already going on. So if you're up and at it on this Saturday, if you're watching the NSA state basketball games, between that, if you want to watch college basketball, you got a full slate. You have the Ivy League semifinals going on right now. Yale beating Cornell 47-40 with about a minute and a half to go in the first half. Yale, I feel like they're a team. Them and Harvard always find a way to make things tricky for teams in the big dance. Princeton, we've seen a number of years too. Those Ivy League schools, you see them, they get your attention real quick in the NCAA tournament. And then you go down to the America East final going on right now. You have UMBC. I mean, you remember them, UMBC playing Vermont, the Catamounts. The Catamounts of Vermont leading that one with 3:57 to go in the first half, 23-22. So both those teams are Vermont's been a staple in the big dance for years to come. They have been a tricky team from time to time. They've won the America East a lot. So, and then UMBC, obviously, when you mention UMBC, first thing that comes to mind was the first ever 16 seed defeat, the 1 seed when they defeated the Virginia Cavaliers years ago in that game, which was, everybody remembers where they were in that game. It was a late game in North Carolina. I remember sitting there going, wow, this is crazy. Never thought we'd see a 1 over 16 or a 16 over a 1, in that one. So those are the two games active right now going on across the college basketball landscape. You get some semifinals in the SEC in the Big Ten. Some other conference championship games to note, to look at. You have the MEAC finals starting at noon. You have North Carolina Central facing Howard. North Carolina Central is 14-17, and they're in their conference championship. More than likely, if they would beat Howard, they would get one of those play-in first 4 games at Dayton. So that's one of the championships. A-10 semifinals going on. Their games tomorrow before the Big Ten championship game as well. Semifinals in the Ivy League, as mentioned, the American Conference, the SEC semifinals. SEC conference tournament, Ole Miss is in the semifinals. Ole Miss won 4 conference games all year. They're 15-19. They're 2 wins away from making the NCAA tournament and being a bid stealer. Now, there's a lot of talk about Auburn. There's a lot of talk about Miami, Ohio. Would it be funny if Ole Miss somehow grabbed that last spot and knocked Auburn out from the bubble and bursted their conference foes' bubble? So those are ones to watch as well. The Atlantic 10 American semifinals, the Big 12 championship really kicks into high gear. There are a lot of championship games of the conferences going on tonight. Houston and Arizona starting around 5 o'clock from Kansas City in the Big 12 championship game. The court, it's back to normal. It's not an LED court. We talked about that the other night as well. Then you'll go down to the Mountain West Conference final tonight as well. Utah State and San Diego State facing off around 5 o'clock as well. At the MSG, Madison Square Garden tonight, you get a rematch from regular season play as the UConn Huskies take on St. John's. The Red Storm got the victory over the Huskies during the regular season matchup between these two teams, but should be a good one there at MSG tonight in New York. You have the SWAC tournament final, Southern versus Prairie View A&M. More than likely, that is a first 4 game. Usually, SWAC has been a staple to the first 4 in Dayton over the years. The MAC championship, Akron and Toledo. Toledo trying to be maybe the 3rd MAC team to make the tournament because Akron is 25-8 or 28-5, but also Miami, Ohio's 31-1. So if Toledo wins, does that put 3 MAC teams in? Is Akron a shoo-in? I don't think so, because it's just the MAC conference. It's just how it's looked at as a mid-major. If Akron, whoever wins that game, probably joins Miami, Ohio in the big dance. Following that one, you get Duke in Virginia at 7:30 tonight for the ACC title. 1 Duke against number 10 Virginia. Conference USA Championship tonight, Louisiana Tech, Kennesaw State. And then if you're a night owl, you get some late tip-offs tonight, 9 o'clock Central Time. The Big West Championship between UC Irvine and Hawaii. If I'm a Nebraska fan, I'm watching that one because you might draw one of those teams in that 3-14 matchup in the NCAA tournament because UC Irvine's a fun team, pretty explosive from the 3-point range, and Hawaii's an interesting team as well. They got some length. Could be 14 seeds winning the Big West. One of those 2 teams, maybe Nebraska sees. Depends what else happens across college basketball. There is a lot going on. And then the final game to tip off right before 11 o'clock Central Time tonight is the WAC tournament final, Utah Valley and California Baptist. Utah Valley, interesting team. They have to pay a certain amount of revenue or whatever money to even make the tournament because the WAC is fighting versus them and whatnot. California Baptist as well is in there. So one of those 2 teams will be making the NCAA tournament. So Interesting. There's a lot of basketball today, and that's just tomorrow. You have the A-10, the Big Ten, the SEC final, the Ivy League final. You have more college basketball on tap Sunday before Selection Sunday takes center stage across the airwaves. And then we find out where Nebraska's going. I'm interested to see where they go. We'll take one more break. We will come back. We will put a bow on the D2 championship game. That game has gone final. And then we'll find a time to send it back out to Pinnacle Bank Arena, and then we'll come back for one more break. And then we will send it down to Nick Sainert down at Pinnacle Bank Arena. As Ashland Greenway DC West is coming up. Should be a fun one as we get ready for a full slate of basketball, not only in the college basketball landscape, but the final day of the winter sports season as basketball winds down. So Nick Whyman here, Ticket Weekends. You want to join the conversation, 402-464-5685. We'll talk to you guys on the other side after this break.
When you or a loved one hears the words, "You have cancer," you want to make sure you're surrounded by a team you can trust, who will be a true partner in your cancer journey. At NHO, you'll be treated like family, and you'll feel that compassion every time you walk through our doors. After all, this is the fight of your life, and you'll need the best people to be on your side. We're Nebraska Hematology Oncology. On your side, by your side.
General Excavating has been a leading underground utilities contractor for nearly 40 years, and they're growing. General Excavating is hiring for more than 50 positions with offices in Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Cheyenne. Positions range from senior project managers to superintendents, utilities foremen, heavy equipment operators, journeyman plumbers, field mechanics, and more. They offer competitive wages, benefits, and PTO with a culture built on the importance of safety. Apply today at generalexcavating.com or call 402-467-1627 for more information.
Spring sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Parents deal with a lot of what ifs. What if my child gets a scholarship? What if they don't? What if they go to college? Or what if they pursue a trade? Nest 529 makes it easy to save for higher education costs, so you're always prepared for life's what ifs. Learn more at nest529.com/hoops. Check with your home state to learn if it offers tax or other benefits for investing in its own 529 plan. Investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, no bank guarantee.
High school basketball fans, take a trip over to the Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame while you're in town for state hoops. Admission is free, and it's a great way to learn about some of the greatest athletes and teams to come out of the state, from recently to over 100 years ago in all sports. Learn more about names like Gale Sayers, Johnny Rogers, Bob Gibson, Tom Osborne, and more. Open Wednesday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. It's the Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame, just north of Haymarket Park at 500 Charleston Street.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call
John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
And electrical.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Winning is about more than wanting it. It's about working for it. As Bulldogs, we see that hard work pay off every day. In the classroom, in our faith, in competition. At Concordia, the momentum is building, and you can be a part of it. Join a winning team at Concordia University, Nebraska.
State high school basketball coverage from Pinnacle Bank Arena is proudly sponsored by Peru State College, Nebraska's first college helping students excel on and off the court for more than 150 years. At Peru State College, you'll find affordable tuition, a close-knit community, and flexible programs designed to fit your goals. Whether you plan to compete in college athletics or get involved across campus, Peru State helps you reach your full potential in the classroom and beyond. Pursue your potential at Peru State College. Learn more about programs, scholarships, and book your campus visit at peru.edu.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Ticket Weekends. Nick Whyman with you for the first 2 hours of this day. As we had technical difficulties during the Class D2 state championship game, but apologies for that. But Nick Sainer on the call for the next one as Class C1 beginning here in a matter of moments from Pinnacle Bank Arena. So we'll wrap up me. You've seen enough of me today for now, and we'll get it out to PBA in a short moment, it sounds like. But to put a bow on the Class D2 state championship game, Archangels Catholic defeating Elgin Public Pope John 50-30 in this one. Archangels Catholic jumped out to a large lead in the first quarter, putting up 12-5 in that quarter. A very low-scoring affair in the second quarter, with Archangels Catholic scoring 7 points, Elgin Public Pope John being held to just one single point during that period. So that put the halftime score at 19-6. If there was a 9 a.m. game, that's what it sounded like with a 19-6 halftime score. But the second half, 18-12 in that third quarter, and then 13-12 down the stretch. But Archangels Catholic held that game, a commanding lead throughout, win by 20, and Archangels Catholic wins the state title. In this one, Archangels Catholic shot 39% from the floor compared to EPPJ's 27%. Only 8 made field goals for EPPJ, while Archangels knocked down 20 shots. 3-point percentages were pretty low. EPPJ shooting 7% from the floor, as well for Archangels shooting 23%, 3 of 13 from beyond the arc. Free throws down as well. Turnovers, 23 turnovers forced by Archangels Catholic leads to them also winning the rebounding battle by 13 as well. So everything went their way. That's just kind of what happened in this game. They won the bench points. They got the second chance points. They got 15 offensive boards to EPPJ's 2. They just were the better team today, across the board, on the floor, in the stat book, and whatnot. So that closes the book on the Class D2 championship game. Let's look ahead to what's on tap for the rest of the day. So D2, Archangels Catholic gets that one done. Let's look at what's next. So C1 is coming up here in a matter of moments. Sounds like 11:05. We're going to send it out to PBA with Nick Sainer on the call for that one. As the 4 seed, Douglas County West, who beat Grand Island Central Catholic on Thursday, turned around yesterday morning at 9 o'clock and upset undefeated Ogallala in that one by 4 points to push the Falcons to the state championship game in C1. They spent a year in B last year, lost in the first round, back down to C1. They're playing for a state title in a matter of moments against a perennial powerhouse, the 2 seed, Ashland Greenwood. There's a guy named Cale Jacobson who was doing it there a couple of years ago, helping win state titles, dropping points at Pinnacle Bank Arena before he did that with the Huskers. Ashland Greenwood beating Lincoln Christian on Thursday, then defeating Auburn. As mentioned, Auburn and Ashland Green, and it feels like those teams always run into one another this time of year in that first couple weeks of March. So Ashland Greenwood will face DC West in a matter of moments at Pinnacle Bank Arena. But going down the rest of the slate as well, right after that one, around 1 o'clock, you will get the Class A championship game, which has a LPS school in it. The 4 seed Lincoln Southwest defeating Millard North on Wednesday in the quarterfinals, then knocking off the number 1 seed Omaha West Side in the semifinals yesterday afternoon. So you'll get the 4 seed Lincoln Southwest battling the 6 seed Papillion La Vista South. Yes, the 4 and the 6 seed Lincoln Southwest, Papillion La Vista South. The Titans of Papillion La Vista South, they got here by beating Creighton Prep and then defeating the Thunderbirds of Bellevue West, another staple to the boys state tournament, who have had some very talented players go through that program. That game will follow C1. We'll take a little break. We'll send it back here to the studio. I will be here. We'll talk about everything that's going on in those said games and whatnot going around college basketball. Like I mentioned, Ivy League semifinals and the America East Championship game are going on right now. So some auto bids getting punched throughout the day. You have the Big Ten semifinals, the Big 12 championship, you name it. A day full of basketball. March is here officially. We sleep in May, I think is the slogan. Then you go down to, after that break, we come back here to the studio. We're going to send it right back out to Pinnacle Bank Arena for the final 3 games. That'll be the halfway point of the day, and that Class A slate gets over. Then we go to Class C2. Bergen Catholic, the 2 seed, faces the 5 seed Norfolk Catholic. Bergen defeating Pender in the first round and then knocking off Freeman in a 2-6 matchup, a rematch from last year's first round where Bergen got the last laugh against the Falcons. This time around, they did as well. So that sets the table for Norfolk Catholic versus Bergen at 4:15. And then Class B, the game I'm most looking forward to, just because what I've seen in Class B basketball. I talked with Norris's coach, Jimmy Motes, the other night. We talked about how stacked Class B was and how good the teams were in it across the board, no matter if you're the 1 seed, the 7 seed, the 4 seed, or whatnot. And you're getting a 3 seed Scotts Bluff, who defeated Gretna East handily on Thursday, then defeated Norris yesterday in a wild basketball game where they led by 13. Norris fights all the way back, and then Nate Kelly sends the Bearcats to their 2nd consecutive Class B state championship game. Last year coming up short against a team like Scott Catholic, defending champions. But Scott Catholic also not playing today. Scott Catholic, 3-time defending state champions, are done as they defeated Pius, and then Elkhorn North beat Wahoo. Sets up the table for a Wolves versus Skyhawks semifinal yesterday. Wild ending as well. Scotts Bluff misses a free throw, gets a chance to put back to tie the game and send it to overtime, and misses it. No call. The Wolves survive and advance. Elkhorn North is heading to their first ever Class B state championship in boys basketball. Obviously, they did with Britt Prince and company. A lot of really good athletes there. But Elkhorn North versus Scotts Bluff in primetime tonight. That game tipping off around 6:15 from Pinnacle Bank Arena. And the final game of the winter sports season in the NEB Preps land, you will get the number 1 seed Howells Dodge in D1, taking on the 6 seed McCool Junction, who is 21-6 to cap off the day. So some exciting games across the board. It should be a fun time. Obviously, we just mentioned D2 just wrapped up with Archangels Catholic picking up a 50-30 win over EPPJ Elgin Public Pope John. Archangels Catholic led that one throughout as well. Before we send you off to Pinnacle Bank Arena with Nick Sainer on the call of Class C1, let's give an update on the 2 college basketball games that tipped off at 10 o'clock Central Time this morning. If you're watching for auto bids, watching to see, maybe scout out for your bracket or whatnot, or if you're just a college basketball junkie like me, or a sports junkie and you're looking for live sports, you could have started early this morning at 10 o'clock. Not only with the NSAA games going on, but you have the Ivy League and the America East final. Yale at halftime, 23-5 Yale leading 15-12 Cornell, 49-42 at the halftime break in that one. Yale trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. They would win that game. They would advance to the Ivy League final tomorrow. And then at halftime in the America East playoff championship game of that conference, UMBC, yes, UMBC, remember that name from a couple of years ago. They are up 2 on the Vermont Catamounts, 30-28 at the halftime break. So UMBC, they're a team that we all remember from a couple of years ago against Virginia. Who knows what happens there? You have Vermont, also another team that is a staple to the Big Dance. Some sneaky teams. As well, I mentioned, watch that UC Irvine-Hawaii game. Those are 2 teams Nebraska could face off in the first round of the tournament. We'll find out tomorrow as well where Nebraska will be heading for the NCAA tournament in search of that first March Madness victory for the Cornhuskers men's basketball program. So that is all I have for you. Thank you for joining in for these 2 hours here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Remember, D2 Archangels Catholic with a 50-30 win over Elgin Public Pope John. But more basketball to be played. We're going to send it out to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nick Sainer on standby for a very intriguing matchup in Class C1. You're getting number 2 Ashland Greenwood, who entered with a 27-1 record, taking on DC West, who is 23-6 overall. A Class C1 state champion will be crowned. We might see a LPS school win a championship crown later this afternoon as well. Southwest faces Papillion La Vista South. So Nick Whyman here. We're going to sign off. We're going to send down to Pinnacle Bank in a matter of moments here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.